Hey, all you beautiful people out there. If you could please do me a favor and like, comment, and share this video, it would be greatly appreciated. The YouTube algorithm is a cruel mistress and wants engagements in order to promote my videos. So for me to survive, please help me out. And if you don't want to miss a video from me, please hit that little bell for notifications. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
What's going on, guys? AwestruckBox here. And for those of you who don't know, I am a huge Gravity Falls fan. It is like my favorite cartoon of all time. You guys probably thought Steven Universe was my favorite cartoon of all time. Understandable, because, you know, I make a lot of videos on it, like a lot. But Gravity Falls will always be my number one. I made so many theories and conspiracies and predictions on the show while it was airing. And I'm really kicking myself in the foot that I didn't start the Roundtable sooner. Because if I did, I would have made so many Gravity Falls videos and you guys could have, like, been on that journey with me. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Today, I want to talk about a Gravity Falls Christmas special. Christmas is my favorite holiday, and I love Christmas specials to death. And since I love Gravity Falls to death, obviously a Christmas special would have been fantastic. Yet it never happened, because the show takes place during the course of one summer. Granted, they managed to have like 2 Halloween specials, one taking place on Summerween, and one was just another 3-story episode. But regardless, they were both Halloween episodes. And today I wanted to share my idea for a Christmas episode. This was an episode idea I had for like over a year. It's been in my head, and a lot of details have changed about it, and I don't think I have a concrete ending, but after the series finale and stuff, there's more plot details I have in mind to work it out, have it fit in the canon more. So today, I'm going to share with you guys that Christmas special idea. So first off, it takes place anytime between the last Maplecorn and Dipper Movers to Future. It can take place before or after Roadside Attraction, but that part doesn't really matter as much. As we know, Gravity Falls celebrates Halloween twice a year. They just love the holiday that much. And I figure the town has some pretty odd traditions, and there's not that many holidays in August, if any. There's no major holiday off the top of my head. So in the world of Gravity Falls, the people of the town choose a holiday at random to celebrate again, excluding Halloween, of course. They spin a giant wheel in the middle of the town, and the mayor, being Tyler, declares what the new holiday is. This year, the holiday is Christmas. So the town has about, let's say, 3 days to get ready for their own Christmas again. A second Christmas. Now, both Stan and Ford love Christmas. Love. But what Stan loves more are holiday sales. So he goes Christmas crazy at the shack. He decks it out with holiday decorations, tons of snow globes. He has the snow globe sale going on, the works. Ford is also so excited that he's just a lot more relaxed. He's not super worried about Bill, but he's still pretty worried. But his good mood allows him to be a lot more trusting and carefree. So when Seuss asks if he can clean out the basement, just to help, because Seuss is a man full of goodwill. So in the middle of his usual cleaning duty, he notices that the basement is kind of dusty. Let's just say like Ford left the door slightly cracked open, or Dipper or somebody, in passing from the shack to the basement. And Ford's like, you know what, knock yourself out. And from what we gathered, Ford doesn't really mind Seuss that much. He tolerates him, he might even be fond of him. The only thing he doesn't like about Seuss from what Journal 3 has told us is that he's not fond at this point that Seuss idolizes Stanley. He doesn't understand why. That being said, Ford being in a really good mood allows him to clean out the basement and lab. This is Ford's fatal mistake, because when he's not paying attention, Seuss accidentally stumbles upon the rift and mistakes it as a snow globe, thinking Dipper must have took one from the shack and brought it downstairs when he was hanging out with Ford. So he thinks he's going to put it back to its rightful place, which is amongst the other snow globes inside the shack, which, since it's the second Christmas, is full of customers trying to get some holiday gifts. And guess who catches wind of this? The all-seeing, omnipresent beast, Bill Cipher. Since the unicorn spell is up, he can't possess anyone inside the shack, but the show never specified if he could possess someone outside the shack and then enter the shack in that possessed body. My understanding was just that he can't appear to someone inside the shack, outside of like dreams. So what does Bill do? He appears to basically every child in town, masquerading as Santa, trying to offer them whatever they want for Christmas if they do him a favor. Give and take, give and take. And he has little to no luck with Candy, Brenda, Thompson, who still believes in Santa, and even Toby Determined. Because why stop at Thompson, a teenager? Toby's very childish, so why not? But then Bill does strike gold with some poor sap. Gordy makes a deal, possesses him, and makes his way inside of the shack. You can also have a joke here about Bill being frustrated with Gordy's body. Since Gordy's kind of big, as this is going on, there's another plot of the episode that's going on. Mabel's talking to Ford about Christmas, as he expresses his love for it. And when she mentions Santa Claus, Ford makes an offhand comment about how Santa Claus is actually real, the North Pole and everything. And this amazes Mabel, but what amazes her even more is when she discovers that Santa has a vacation home in Gravity Falls. For it also shows in Journal 1 that the last time the town chose Christmas as the holiday to celebrate twice, Santa set up shop right outside his vacation home. And he's gonna do it again this year. So Mabel grabs Candy and Grenda, and let's bring Pacifica into this plot too. Wendy's at work, and since it's really busy, she can't skip. To add to Pacifica's little redemption arc she has in Season 2, let's say for once, she's shopping for other people's Christmas presents. Whether it's for her presents or some rich friends we haven't seen, or those girls she hung out in Season 1, she's just trying to do something nice and trying to give instead of just always receiving. And Mabel convinces her to tag along to go see Santa. Mabel's thinking, oh, you know, Santa can help you find a good gift. Who would know more about gifts than the man himself? So they're off. But when they make it to Santa's vacation home, things are not looking good. And that's because the fan favorite gnomes are fighting with the elves. Mabel and the girls then learn that the elves and gnomes have a 1,000-year war going on between them, due to their very similar appearances and attributes. It's basically just been a long big argument of who's better. At first, Mabel suggests a competition, but then Pacifica reminds her how well that turned out in the Gulf War. So Mabel comes up with a better way of understanding. She wants them to switch places, have the gnomes live a day in the elf shoes, and vice versa. The gnomes work in Santa's shop, and the elves do whatever, I don't know what the gnomes do. They seem to just hang out all day, but we can figure out something. But why is Mabel trying so hard to help them? In the Gulf War, she wanted to unite them together, and even have them compete against each other so she could beat Pacifica in the game of golf. So while she tried doing a nice thing, it was because of an ulterior motive. So what's her ulterior motive here? Well, she encountered Santa, and it seems he's on the nice list, but Santa reveals that because of this summer's events, alternating between good deeds and bad deeds, being selfish and being selfless, Mabel's on the in-between list. A list full of kids who are not on the nice list, but not on the naughty list either. And it's even in effect with Second Christmas, which Santa has to make a final decision for soon. This is what motivates Mabel to unite the gnomes and the elves together, because she figures if she can do that and stop all this fighting, Santa will be directly affected by that in a positive way, and thus has to put her on the nice list. Not only will this tie together all of Mabel's character arc throughout the series, and how it does have repercussions, even if it's just being on Santa's naughty list and not getting the gifts that she wanted, it still addresses them in a good way, but let's not get into that right now. So we have a few montages of the gnomes living like the elves, working in Santa's toy shop, and scenes of the elves doing the gnomes' daily duties. And they're both pretty good at it. I know shows is usually like, oh wow, this is a lot harder than I thought, but nope. The gnomes are good at being elves, and the elves are good at being gnomes. This only rises tension because the gnomes and elves are like, well, see, I can do that better than you guys can. They're like, no, we did this better than you can. And this only stresses Santa out further, because while for a short period of time productivity in the toy shop skyrocketed with the gnomes, it's now come back to a halt thanks to the fighting. And Second Christmas is only a few hours away, as now we're at Christmas Eve, or Second Christmas Eve, or whatever you would want to call it. With all that said, it's time to bring these two subplots together. Basically, Santa figures out, either through an offhand comment, or just reports of it, or just reports through the dreamscape, that Bill has been presenting himself as Santa in children's dreams, impersonating him, which is in direct violation of some sort of supernatural law. Hell, let's have fun and say, in the world of Gravity Falls, all the holiday mascots are a part of some league, and Bill Cipher is one of their most notorious enemies. Santa also figures out that there's a rift in space-time in the Mystery Shack, so now he also wants to arrest Ford. Because Santa knows all, but since he's been so swamped with Second Christmas, in addition to the already Christmas rush, he has been keeping tabs on Ford. So he's just now fighting about the interdimensional portal, or at least it's ripped in space-time. We can say that he witnessed the events and not what he seems, but he didn't interfere, for a reason that comes back into play. As right before Bill and Gordy's body gets hit on the rifts, Santa shows up, and with his magical Christmas powers, rips Bill out of Gordy's body, runs outside away from the crowd, who's half paying attention and half in shock, and then duke it out in the mindscape. But before Santa can get rid of Bill, Bill begs for mercy. So Santa takes pity on him because Santa's just a nice guy. He's understanding. But Santa's fatal flaw is when he asks Bill if he's sure if he's gonna give his evil ways. Bill says yes, and then Santa, being the gentleman he is, shakes on it. This allows Bill to take over Santa's body and possesses him. Santa got caught up in the moment and didn't realize when he made a deal with Bill for Bill to stop doing heinous acts, he made a deal with Bill. Like, that's all. Bill then ditches the rift because, with Santa's powers, he can transport to any place in the world that he wants, and subsequently, any place in the universe. Basically, with Santa's dimension warping powers, he can link the nightmare realm with the real world. Or so he thinks, because Bill just can't quite get it right. And while Bill's trying to figure out Santa's awesome body, because this Santa Claus is gonna be a badass. I mean, he can be chubby if you want, but his powers are still gonna be out of this world. It would be something that would make the viewers go, and he's spending his time making toys? But before Bill can get a hold of Santa's powers, the gnomes and the elves band together to help kick ass. Mabel and the girls also pitch in, and of course some action from Dipper and Ford with some crazy gadgets, and Stan, kind of not understanding what's going on, not understanding who Bill Cipher is yet, is ignoring the fight and just trying to keep the customers calmed down so they can buy more merch. He's basically forging merch upon them while they're like in a panic. And he's trying to keep them away from Santa because Seuss is supposed to be the shack's mall Santa. Bill tries to fly off, but he can't quite escape Gravity Falls, which is set up for Weirdmageddon 2, where he realizes the town has some magical constraints on it. This would be set up for it since that seemed to come out of nowhere. And while Bill's panicking, freaking out, not having control of Santa's body, he gets knocked out. Who has the finishing blow? I'm not really sure. All I know is everyone pitches in the battle somehow. Sorry, that sounds like a lack of creativity, but Gravity Falls always does things in a unique way, and I just can't wrap my head around a creative way to beat Bill Santa. Banta. So Bill's out of Santa's body, and swears that one day soon, his plans will come to fruition. You can also use this to insert some elaborate wheel foreshadowing. Have Bill mentioned the prophecy. So there's the aftermath, Santa gets himself cleaned up, Ford, with the memory gun and total pole, does what he does, and Hill 2 stands and wipes all the tourists' memories clean of what just happened. The entire Santa incident, any reference to Bill anybody might have picked up on. Mabel asks Santa if she's been moved from the in-between list to the nice list, and Santa just goes off on her, saying that the only reason why she tried to unite the gnomes and the elves together was so Santa would put her on the nice list, but she didn't actually do it out of the kindness of her heart. It was only until the battle between Banta that Mabel started doing selfless acts to protect the shack and the town, and overall the spirit of Christmas, and that's the only reason why she's put on the nice list for second Christmas. Pacifica's on the nice list because she's been doing selfless acts the entire episode. Granted, she has a lot of moments where she makes some snarky comments, acting real snooty, but overall you see throughout the episode that she's trying an effort to make a change. Ford assumes he's on the nice list, and that Stan's on the naughty list, but Santa actually goes off on Ford now too, saying that Ford's the one on the naughty list. Santa reveals that he's been watching the Pines family and that he's proud of Stan. Everything Santa's done throughout the last few months is for his family. His whole motive behind money? All of his get-rich schemes is because of what happened when he was a teenager when he got kicked out. At the end of the day, while Santa's done things for his own gain, it's always been for a bigger purpose, and that's what puts him on the nice list. After all, he jeopardized the fate of the universe, no matter how reckless that was and how she'd be thrown in some kind of prison, interdimensional prison, but Santa lets him off the hook. As for Ford, he's too obsessed with himself. He tries too hard to be a hero, and that is his greatest flaw, and that's why Santa deems him on the naughty list, because he's not a hero. Because he disregards his family. But then Dipper vouches for Ford, telling Santa that he might have overlooked some things, those things being their bonding moments. So Santa reluctantly says he can see what he does and puts Ford on the in-between list. All these things will later come to play in the finale, with Mabel and Mabel being on the in-between list and her motivations behind things and her true intentions, Ford's need to be a hero, Stanley's heroic sacrifice, etc. Not only do I feel like this will serve as a great Christmas special, but a great setup for Weirdmageddon. A great setup for the climax of the series and where these characters end up. It will flesh them out just a little bit more. I also wanted to stray away from traditional Christmas cliches. No one trying to discover the spirit of Christmas. No one stealing Christmas, and it's still tied into the plot of the show. And I feel like the subplot is something that could actually happen in Gravity Falls, but that's just me. I'm sure I'm missing something that makes it a complete Gravity Falls episode. Something's lacking in what I've just presented that prevents it from feeling like a Gravity Falls episode. But before I continue further, the episode ends with Second Christmas. On Second Christmas, everyone receives a present, including Ford, which means he ultimately ends up on a nice list. But Santa leaves him with a note saying that he better change soon, because even though his nephew got him on the nice list this year, actual Christmas is only a few months away, so he better shape up quick. This leaves Ford on a rather sad note, but then Stan comforts him, and they have a decent moment of getting along with each other. They're not super buddy-buddy, and there's obviously some tension there, but it just goes to show that Stan really is a good person at heart. And thus, that's where the episode ends. I'm sure there's some other things you could incorporate, like with Seuss being the mystery shack Santa, Pacifica trying to find a good Christmas gift, Wendy actually having to be at work, maybe a cameo from Robbie and the other kids, or even something with McGucket, but I'm happy with what I thought of now. But I still think I'm pretty happy with what I presented. This could either be a half-hour special or just a full hour episode. I haven't really decided. I don't know if what I presented was too much to be in a half hour, so an hour is just as good. I really miss Gravity Falls, and I hope to make more videos like this, but what do you guys think? Please comment your thoughts down below. What do you think of my ideas for a Christmas special? If you think it fits in the canon without much issues and continuity, how would you do a Christmas special, etc. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. You can follow us on Twitter and on all other social media in the description. All the links are in the description down below. Ostric Vox, signing out.